Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International STEM Showcase TVET, brought to you by the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office and MSU Management Science University here in Sabah, Malaysia, the land below the wind. I'm Shobha McIntyre, your host for this event. Now, before we begin, let us all rise to sing the national anthem of Malaysia, Negaraku, and the Sabah state anthem, Sabah Tanah Airku. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now call upon Al-Fadil Ustad Arbain bin Shawal from the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office to bless this event with a prayer.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina wa maulana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Engkaulah pengusaha langit dan bumi serta perbendaharaan antara kedua-duanya. Ya Allah, kami merafakkan kesyukuran di atas keizinan-Mu mengizinkan kami menghadirkan diri, emosi dan roh kami dalam program yang dilaksanakan pada hari ini. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang memudahkan segala urusan, mudahkanlah perbincangan kami pada hari ini sehingga mencapai objektif yang disesarkan. Ya Allah, kurniakanlah kepada kami kesatuan hati dan perasaan dalam mengurus dan mengemudi organisasi kami ke arah perkhidmatan yang cemerlang. Kurniakanlah kami keterbukaan dalam memberi dan menerima pandangan serta idea. Elokkanlah tutur bicara kami, tajamkanlah pemikiran kami, dan satukanlah keputusan kami sehingga kami mampu menunaikan segala tanggungjawab dan amanah menerusi kerja berpasukan. Ya Allah, suburkanlah hati-hati kami dengan berbaik sangka, berlapang dada, bantu-membantu, sokong mendokong rakan seperjuangan kami sehingga kami dapat menyelesaikan sebarang permasalahan yang timbul. Jadikanlah hati-hati kami mampu meleburkan segala kepentingan peribadi demi mencapai matlamat organisasi yang tinggi dan demi merealisasikan cita-cita yang murni. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا مباركا معصوما ولا تجعل اللهم فينا ولا معنا ولا من يتبعون شقيا ولا مطرودا ولا محروما. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من البرص والجنون والجذام ومن سيء الأسقام يا أرحم الراحمين. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. تقبل الله منكم.
Our event would not be complete without a speech by the District Education Officer of the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office. Let's welcome Puan Tanya binti Haji Jaman to deliver her speech.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Salam Day to Change PPD Kota Kinabalu. Alhamdulillah, the highest gratitude is extended to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because with His grace, we can gather virtually here in the launching of the International STEM Showcase for TVET, jointly organized by Kota Kinabalu District Education Office and Management and Science University College Sabah. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our guest of honor this morning, Yang Berhormat Datuk Haji Yaakob Khan, as the officiator of this ceremony, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Dr. Misrin binti Raden, Director of the Sabah State Education Department and the Principal of Management and Science University College Sabah, Mr. Suif bin Sainan. The highest appreciations also goes to all educators, especially the principals, headmasters, and teachers for their efforts and commitment in making this event a success. Indeed, time passes so fast, and so does the era of education. It changes with times and the current needs, especially to meet the increasingly challenging career fields. In the present, TVET education is considered a value-added portion of a general education that integrates technology, sciences, practical skills, attitudes, understanding, and informations relating to employment in different economic and social sectors. TVET organizations are big workplace suppliers that will be in the workforce for who will be in the forefront in dealing directly with sustainable issues. Ladies and gentlemen, in line with this situation, this STEM showcase is coincided with the 11 Malaysia Plan 2016 to 2020, which states that as many as 1.5 million new professions by 2020 and 60% of the jobs offered are looking at the needs of employees with TVET expertise. I hope this STEM showcase for TVET will also serve as an opportunity and platform for educators to exchange knowledge, skills, and experience on their teaching processes and classroom assessment, in which help increase students' ability to learn better. In the same time, it will enable to create a digital platform for educators to pitch ideas and thoughts about the new normative education systems in the face of future educational challenges, especially with the new normal of education in the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. With this, once again, I, on behalf of all educators in the district of Kota Kinabalu, would like to thank you for the support and commitment given by all parties, either directly or indirectly. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
we'd like to thank Puan Tanya binti Haji Jaman, the District Education Officer of the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office, for delivering that wonderful speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to invite our most distinguished guest, Yang Berhormat Datuk Haji Yaakob Tan, the Sabah State Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, to deliver his speech and officiate this event.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Sabah Maju Jaya dan salam keluarga Malaysia. Alhamdulillah, setinggi-tinggi kesyukuran dipanjatkan kehadrat Allah Subhanahu wa taala kerana dengan izinnya dapat kita bersama-sama bertemu secara maya dalam International STEM Showcase TVET. Terlebih dahulu saya ingin mengucapkan syabas dan tahniah kepada Datuk Dr. Misrain binti Radin, Pengarah Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sabah, Puan Tahniah binti Haji Jaman, Jusasi Cemerlang, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu, dan Encik Suif bin Sainan, Principal of Management and Science University, Cawangan Sabah, serta semua warga pendidik atas komitmen dalam menjayakan program bertaraf antarabangsa. Dalam keratan utusan Borneo, Sarawak, ada membincangkan bahawa pendekatan menggabungkan STEM dan TVET merupakan pendidikan baharu yang perlu diterokai. Ini disebabkan bahawa pembelajaran TVET merupakan bidang kemahiran yang mempunyai potensi lebih tinggi dalam penerapan konsep dan teori dari subjek STEM berbanding pembelajaran harian biasa tanpa mengikuti pengajian TVET. TVET adalah Technical and Vocational Education and Training. STEM adalah Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics. Dalam 11 Malaysia Plan 2016-2020 ada menyatakan bahawa sebanyak 1.5 juta pekerjaan baru pada tahun 2020 serta 60% pekerjaan yang ditawarkan adalah melihat kepada keperluan pekerjaan yang mempunyai kemahiran TVET. Seperti mana yang berlaku pada masa kini, pekerjaan yang celik IT dan mempunyai kemahiran TVET akan terus berkembang dan mempunyai pekerjaan yang lebih baik. Namun, kita tidak dapat nafikan bukan semua pelajar kita akan menjadi seorang doktor, peguam, jurutera atau profesor. Hanya segelintir pelajar yang sangat cekap dan kreatif dalam bidang kemahiran. Justru itu, semua anak didik kita mempunyai potensi untuk bersaing di era global. Akhir sekali, saya mengucapkan syabas dan tahniah kepada warga pendidik, pejabat pendidikan daerah Kota Kinabalu dalam menganjurkan STEM Showcase TVET, di mana ianya bagi menggalakkan guru lebih berkarya serta dapat menghasilkan idea kreatif dan inovatif, terutamanya teknik dan pendekatan pembelajaran serta pengajaran di bilik darjah. Saya berharap agar showcase pada kali ini dapat memberi inspirasi kepada semua warga pendidik di seluruh negara, sama ada di dalam atau luar negara. Terima kasih kepada semua pihak yang telah menjayakan pelaksanaan International STEM Showcase TVET pada hari ini. Dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya dengan sukacitanya merasmikan International STEM Showcase TVET, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kota Kinabalu dengan kerjasama Management Science University dengan rasminya. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We'd like to thank Yang Berhormat Datuk Haji Yaakob Khan, the Sabah State Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, for officiating this event. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the International STEM Showcase TVET, brought to you by the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office and MSU Management Science University right here in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, Malaysia. Now, before we begin with our wonderful lineup of talks from speakers around the world, just for you, I'd like to introduce the moderator of this event, Madam Lily Sintom, SIC Plus TVET from the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office, to introduce and conduct the sessions following this. Let's give her a warm welcome. To introduce our first speaker, Professor Yuto Lim, I'd like to call upon our moderator, Madam Lily Sintom.
Thank you, Ms. Shaba, for the introductions. Good morning, and I hope that everyone is in the best health. We will start off our event today by inviting our first speaker from Japan, Associate Professor from School of Information Science, Japan Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, better known as JAIST, Dr. Yuto Lim. Prof. Yuto will be talking about future STEM TVET in education. In these presentations, Prof. Yuto will discuss about the different setup for online and online live when conducting lesson. He will also talk about example of online live course delivery, wireless sensor networks, and its illustrations. I'm sure everyone is excited to find out more. And without further ado, let us give a warm welcome to Prof. Yuto Lim.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And my name is Yuto Lim. I'm from JAIST. And it's my pleasure to knowing you all. And I can say I myself is a Malaysian, so selamat petang and apa kabar to all of you. And my title of my presentation today is talking about the future STEM TVET in education. So I will show you some example online live course delivery and in this talk as well. So please allow me first introduce you the contents of this. Okay. So the contents of today my talk is about introductions and background and the example and the conclusion parts. And inside this part, so I'm going to talk about the detail on it. So basically, I will go through one by one. So first of all, let me first introduce myself. And you can see that I am associate professor at JICE, actually since 2009. So I have a list of application that is almost nearly 200, and I can be contacted through this email address, and you can access me to know my lab more through this email address, through this URL address. And the rest of the information I want to share with you is the current research interested I work on in basically is divided by three keywords: wireless itself, and the sensor, and the keywords for energy as well. And in my past work before I joined JICE, and actually I've been doing focusing more towards the communication, mainly on the wireless, and also have an opportunity to work on the 2D communication beside this wireless communication. And during my being as a lecturer, lecturer here or associate professor here, I've been associated with many professional activities. You can see that they are locally, like national within the Japan itself. They are few, and also internationally working as contributing myself as a technical committee members, and we call that TPC, technical program chair here. And my motto here is really is for forthcoming research, basically on these three keywords: is wireless and sensor and energy. So I combine these for as a single keyword for WISE. And I used to be like to go travel around and watching movie, but these days due to the COVID issue, so I seldom do these activities anymore. So where else I will stay most on watching shogi. It's a way of Japanese chess, so I found very interesting. So this is what is spending my time during this COVID season. And beside that, I'm also very good in sport and like bowling and badminton. So that is basically about myself. And let me proceed to introduce you my lab, WISE Laboratory. And actually, it's established during my join JICE on the 1st of October 2009. And I have a logo here. Actually, this logo actually is drawn based on behind the idea of the cloud computing in the past. So today we use this cloud as a services. And in fact, my also cloud is part of my research to creating a platform, for example. And basically, you can see that I'm using the cloud as well. And what I want to say to you here about almost 10 years from now, and I have graduated 24 students. Yeah, 9 of them are PhD, and master are 15. And you can see that I'm currently have 6 student. I have 2 are PhD and 4 are master. And I also have a visiting academic and also intensive student, mainly from Malaysia. And I'm really looking forward opportunity from the student and the academician from Malaysia in coming near future. And the good thing of myself is I can speak much wide language in not just Japanese. I also can speak in Chinese. So I use these languages for my media of communicating within my laboratory. So this is one of my advantages. And okay, basically this is about my lab. And let me go through delivering the main contents for you today. Topics is about the lecturing. We can perform the lecturing or doing this education. I mean, deliver our lecturer either through online. There is basically known by many people these days. But what I want to share with you today, I create another keyword. It's called online live. maybe we can have something called on live or other keywords, but basically I want to explain these two different things to you. First is the online itself. The online basically you have your teacher or academic who delivering, his or her contents using the computer are connected to the internet, and whereas the student connect their internet as well with their computer and can view the contents from other side. So the teacher or the academician will deliver its contents lively in real time. So we call this as online lecturing or teaching. Well, today I'm sharing you something that is a bit different. So you can see that I call it as an online live. Beside the computer that you connect like this, you just use one computer. It's we call that a conventional way, where is the online lecturing is look like. And now I have two more computer. One computer here is connecting to the camera. Another one is connecting iPad. You can see that I'm holding an iPad here and delivering my lecturing like this. And of course, I also can hear from you directly by asking, you can ask me directly. And at the same time, also I can interact with you. And at the same time, also I behave myself. I even can stand up, okay, by delivering my lecture on the board. Later I will show you how I'm going to show this as an example to you to deliver my course as a wireless sensor network as example. So let me explain about this for you. So basically this online live lecturing, actually you need 3 computer and to use what we call that online system. In this system, later I'm going to explain about that. And what I want to conclude between these two things is the online lecturing that you know so far actually is no interaction, because you might have interaction very not real time. Maybe you just like you have a question to a student, maybe the student will reply through the chat or just communicate with you, even though you feel that that is online, but it's not interactive, means that you have to wait, for example. Sometimes also we can have online meeting. You found that that interaction is still very interactively happen, but the when you come to the delivering your lecturing, so usually it's very difficult for you to deliver your content at the same time you want to write something, interacting something. So in the online meeting, means basically you're just sharing your slide, just presenting the content of the slide, by interacting, communicating with each other, and which is I think that is not very interactive. We call that that's why I concluded no much interaction needed or needed to the lecturing. So whereas the online live here, what I want to say here, it really provide the interaction environment and together with those audience or the student who are other side of the internet. So this is what I want to share with you. First thing, how I want to share with you how I set up this online live. Basically, you need 3 computer. I said each of computer have its own role. For example, one of the role is as a host. So the host means that it's shooting a camera. So the camera you can see that on my hand now. So basically, it's directly shooting as a work as a camera, and it also connected with the speaker. But the speaker is connected to my wireless earphone here, where I can say something that you heard by myself. Means that I heard that I'm talking to myself, but the voice is very very low. Means that I can know that how I speaking, and it's something like I get my own feedback how I delivering my lecture. So this computer work as that role, and the second computer will work as a co-host, where we don't turn on the camera and we turn on the speaker. The speaker is here. You can see that this is the speaker of me. So if I move far away like this, it might to near like this. So basically, you can hear my voice very clear because this is a directional speaker. So that's why I have to put it in front of me, and later I can even make it more omnidirectional, means that for 360 degrees directional, because now I'm making it towards to me so that it's focusing on my top. So this is how I do the setting for I'm making the second row as a co-host for the second computer, and the third computer is the iPad that I hold now. So you can see that what you on the screen here is exactly the contents of what I'm writing here, and with my Apple Pens here writing. So here the camera and the speaker are disabled, and the purpose of this iPad is for me to interactively writing something on the slide itself, and that is very interesting that you can see that I'm writing something directly and explaining something directly on the slide. And beside that, the good thing of this online live here, you have your camera here, and I can turn this camera to the other side of camera, so you can see that you can shoot on the whiteboard. So basically, you see what is on the whiteboard now. So let me come back with you with the camera first so that I can start explaining to you. Okay. So now you're looking at this second camera. I call this the first camera. The second camera is shooting on the whiteboard. Okay, this is how I do the setting with the requirement of the online system you available with you. I use the WebEx system. So basically, this is can be done by simply by just connecting you having an account to the WebEx and log in 3 times for that for 3 different computers. So this is how I'm doing my setup for the online live. So basically, I use this for delivering my lecturing, and today I make it more interactive to use the whiteboard together with my projector, and I will perform more lively interaction delivery on the course itself. This is example of the setup. You can see that I have a horse itself as the first one, and a co-horse actually is how it look like in this pattern. And then this is how the thing that you see at the beginning beside the participants or the audience joining. So let me go through by first giving you example of online live course delivering here. Okay, so let me start by explaining a question to you. Why do we need wireless? So you can see that the reason that why we want to have a wireless here, let's say you have your second floor, you have a room, usually it's connected with a computer, and the computer is connected with a Ethernet cable, for example. Let's say you want to start like moving around to your down floor, for example, your first floor. So maybe you tend to be like moving around without the computer, but human cannot bring the computer because of the Ethernet cable is mounted on it. So basically, the wireless actually encourage a person and to move around and provide mobility to the human itself. And the concept of the wireless actually giving access towards to the computer anytime, anywhere, and with anyone. So this is I can see that why do we need wireless. So today we have a wireless have been applied. I mean, you see rightly in your handphone. So that allow us to can moving around and feel the convenience of connection to the computers or any devices to the internet. For example, the internet services that you use today. So let me continue by explaining what is a wireless sensor network. And I pick up some textbook to explain about the wireless sensor network. So wireless sensor network itself is must be connecting wirelessly. So the wireless actually is must come from this particular link. For example, I can use this Wi-Fi to explain to you. So the highlight of the red color here, all are wireless. So you can see that I can write this. And then basically this number is very large. So there are sensors. They can be actuated as well. And they must be cooperatively working each other to send the information by relaying the information or forwarding the information to the base station. And those information are carried through wirelessly. So this is how the sensor cooperatively work each other and like relaying the information to the base station and through this wireless media. And upon the collection of the information by the base station, so the base station is connecting to the internet, and then the information are pulled to the data center. The data center can do some processing on it, and upon the process information have been done by the data center, basically the information can be obtained, can become more meaningful for that reason. So that is the what is the sensor wireless sensor network it mean here. And I'm showing you example of how wireless sensor network works. Here I give you example of a 10 sensor with a 2 PDA and 1 laptop. And they are actually constructing mesh topology. And the image of here is the sensor can be placed for one environment. They are collecting the data temperature and send this information to this PDA. And you must wondering how this wireless sensor network work. So let me show you example by picturing by first the thing will issue some query packet to the sensor and the PDAs itself by the form of communication we call broadcast. Then upon listening, broadcast means that it's something like you shout, you can hear each other, and all the sensors heard that. Then they have start replying like holding the hand, say that, hey, I'm here. And that is called unicast, sent by the sensor and PDA, and by reporting to the SIMs itself. And upon that, information are sent. So basically, the SIM will compute something, and information, what they are behind, and who is the next to each other. We call that this kind of a set of information as a routing table and the neighbor table. And this information are sent to each particular sensors and PDA. Then upon receiving that, so basically the sensor itself and the PDA knowing who is neighbor of them, and then they can know that when they send information, they have to send to the neighbor. So this routing table and the neighbor table is very important, showing that how the communication can be going on on this particular network called wireless sensor network. And at the last, so basically, because this is it can be imaging that they are forming a mesh network. So this mesh topology is exists. So upon this imaging, due to the knowledge of the or information of the routing table, so each of the sensor will start measuring its own data temperature, and then start sending it to the PDA itself through relaying by using this neighbor node or neighbor sensor. Here, that's why it's showing you that the example, very clearly the sensor S9 is sending its data send information to the S7 because you want to send directly to the PDA1 through this sensor 7. At the same time, you also want to send the PDA2, he had to send this information next to this sensor 8. So this how you can see that this the way that the wireless sensor network are working in the real in the basically is look like this way. And I'm showing you the example of a wireless sensor. In my lab, there are of course there are in the world there are many of them, and basically I have this with me. And what I want to show you that I even create my own sensor here. So by having a prototype and with the circuit that I can design to for the purpose of my work actually, so I can reprogram it. This kind of sensor is actually it can be done by not just by how to say, commercially can be bought, but it can also by designed by yourself. So this is how this example of the wireless sensor devices available, and that's all I want to show you. Okay, sorry. Again, before I conclude about this slide, let me show you how I further explain about the wireless communication. Let's say I'm trying to moving my talk, actually talking about explaining further detail about the wireless issue here. Let me first changing, let's say, my camera. So you see this camera actually shooting on the board. So basically, you can see that it's on the board. So on the board is I'm standing here. You can see that I'm standing just beside the board, and of course my voice is not very clear. So because my mic is here, and I can put my mic directly to me, facing to here. For example, I can explaining something that is on the board itself. You can see that's how I interacting with you, explaining using this slide. And this slide is shared by my second computer and describing about the example of a free space propagation with this particular equation, for example. So let's say I want to explain about this particular equation. Maybe it's really hard for you to see. So I even slowly, for example, maybe this, see, you can see. And basically, the equation actually describing the received power and the transmitted power relation and the distance. The free space actually referring to, let's say, for example, you have a transmitter here, and for TX, so upon some distance for D, you will receive some signal and they'll receive it. So this is how the wireless communication actualized by using this propagation model, because we know that, like for example, I speak, my voice is attenuated according to distance. Same in the wireless world, because the wireless signal, electromagnetic wave, when they are propagated through this wireless medium or radio medium, is also attenuated according to distance. Free space actually here is indicating that it's attenuated according to this distance, the power of 2. Is that you receive the power of PR equal to power of P. P is written here to get multiplied with 1 over P. This is how you understand, very basic understanding of free space, for example. And of course, the equation here comes with the GT, GR, the lambda here is a lot. So actually, it's indicating the gain that is being applied on the antenna itself, means that you want to amplify the signal before propagate. So for that reason, you get some additional power on it. So that particular actually is included in the equation. So this is how you understand about free space equation. So what I want to explain here is, besides I explain about what is a wireless sensor network to you, I also use this whiteboard. I'm able to interactive writing to you and telling you how this thing is going. Okay, and basically, let's say I want to more focusing on explaining something by writing through this board. So maybe I will ask some audience here. Maybe you have some question directly. You see the interaction, how it's going on. So, would anyone have a question? You see the interaction. Okay. In fact, you can not just you have to turn on your mic by asking, so or you can do some chatting. So because I can hear you, I can see you also through the chat. So if you have any questions, so just write in through the chat. So see how this the way that the online life is work. Because of delivering this example, can someone participate Isn't like,
Yeah, Prof. I have a questions.
yeah, go
Uh,
ahead. Thank
yeah.
you.
Like this, Prof. You say you have like a second camera, right? Like you are using right now.
Yes,
So
yes.
and then just now when you are explaining with your slide, is it you are using the same camera with the at the back of your whiteboard?
Ah,
Is it the same camera, or I can move the camera to move closer to the whiteboard?
yes,
Or
I
how?
can move it very closer to the whiteboard. I use two cameras now. In fact,
Oh,
I want to make it more interactive for today's special event talk. In fact, in my normal lecturing, so I just use one camera of it. But as you can see that I mount for the second camera. So this is my second camera.
yeah, because at the back we can see the whiteboard, but it's not very clear.
Yes,
If the
I can
camera
even move
we
it
can
actually.
just move it
See,
around.
this is a
I see.
camera I remove. I'm moving very close,
Ah,
very close, and I can bring this one around me, and
I
in
see,
fact,
I see, I see.
the interaction will become more likely that if some support, let's say there's a student helping me to move around the camera, maybe more freely to talk to each other. I mean, to all the people who are not connected to the internet, so for example, so it's also can be done. So what I want to share you also how I'm doing the settings. So let me moving the camera. Forgive me if you can see this camera.
Okay, Prof. Okay.
This is my first computer.
Prof, I cannot see.
This is the first computer. This is the first camera. And then this is my computer. And then this is my. So this is how I do the setting. You can see that. So basically, there are three here. Just allow me to control it. So technically, and they are all wireless. So, so smooth. Then move back here. Then swing back to this whiteboard. And then it can allow me to show you also sharing you some, let's say, the real device. It's really difficult to show the real device to you. Right? For example, and this is example of sensor. Okay.
I
And
see.
this is a good thing that of this online live lecturing. The reason because you might show this in the picture, but I can show it directly to here. I can even turn it around. Oh, this is the sensor. And beside that, I can show you another sensor. So I can show
Mm-hmm.
you very easily, like interacting with you. And I also can show you an additional box for this. This is the sink. How it look like inside. Because you are online, so basically, when we really have the face-to-face or the normal class, for example, I can bring this one to the class, pass around the student, let the student see. Right? But in online, it's impossible to do this. By this online live lecturing way that I'm setting, I can even showing you going on in future. I can do something, program something, I can do programming as well, and likely to see how the things work. So I think this is a very, very promising way, especially for technical and vocational education and training purposes. Okay? It's not just for the research purposes or the online meeting. I think for education purposes, especially for technical and vocational, in education and training, I think this is very, very suitable. Okay, so this is the thing I can show you, and that's all the end of example of delivering you. Let me make a conclusion. For example, if I understand here, okay, okay, and then moving to sharing my last slide. So by standing here, so what I want to conclude In this talk, actually, I have presented to you an online life approach for possible future online-based education. Yeah. And the explanation of online live course delivery or using this wireless sensor network is also delivered this day. So, okay, that's all I want to say. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, so I'm welcome to listen more from you. So, please, any question? Thank you. So, okay, I can move the camera again. I am standing here for receiving question from you. So you can see me physically even. So maybe you feel likely to see that. Or even I can explain something that to you if you want to know more. So any question?
Yeah, Prof. Here. You said just now 3 times you are open your devices, right? So
Yes,
do
yes.
we need 3 emails or 3 login or 3 accounts, or we only just using only one account?
Yes,
to
it's a good question.
to-
We specified the system set up. And basically what you have to have not 3 email accounts, just one email account. One account can log in 3 times. But the question here is you need 3 computers. Yeah. So the 3 computers will help you to do more things. Okay, of course, there's some disadvantage for forming this online live approach teaching because you might need 3 computers. It's very difficult for you to pay more for having 3 computers. But I believe that these 3 computers, when you bought, you sharing for many lecturers to perform this online live lecturing. I think it's reasonable, cheap for that purpose. And then you can set up a room, for example, for doing that. I think with this small cost, just a computer with wireless connections or wired connection is sufficient to provide something for remote line live lecturing to all the students, for example. Even this is a reasonable cost for any school with the SABTU. Yeah. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you, Prof. That's all from me.
Yeah. Any more questions? Maybe I want to receive a few from maybe who are participant this talk. So you might have to turn on your mic. The questions. So if you're really shy, you can go back to the conventional way by chatting. You can take the chat, just write a question. So that is usually my students do to me because they're scared to voice out. Because you can use the chat, so use the chat just to type something. So ask me questions. So this is how you can interact with me. So I can answer it. I can read out your question in chat. So if you have any questions, let me allow me to see one of the questions from the participants. A minute, please. You really look. So how about I keep pointing the person by asking you directly, maybe you can you turn on your mic, like interaction with me because you asking me question, right? So now I asking you question. Can you turn on your let's like a talk. Got it? That's my question to ask you. You can turn on the mic by mute button, so it's right. Lulu is not here. Right? Okay, maybe I will ask about even more. Can you turn on your mic? I can see a list of adjusting point. So, do you know, do we talk to the member? Okay, that's good that you.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, like for example, I can interactive by asking a person, audience to join me. Even though I'm sorry for assigning you to interact with me. So is it okay?
Actually, because my kids is around me, it's quite noisy here.
Oh, I see. I didn't hear
Yeah,
your background voice very noisy, but
yeah.
I
I
still
asked them
can
to
hear.
to do quiet first because I can't really hear your voice actually.
Ah, really?
Uh,
So if
yeah.
I put like this, can you hear my voice very clear? How
Yeah.
now?
Now clearer. Yeah.
Yeah, very clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
Now,
clearer.
now let me ask you a question about how do you feel about this online live lecturing approach? Do you
Mm.
feel interested on it?
Uh.
I can hear some background noise now. It's,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. Actually, Actually, yeah, I'm interested also. It's just that I'm new to this. I just take over as guru, what do you call ICT teacher.
Oh, I
So
see.
I'm still learning it on all this new technology or online thing. But
Yeah,
it's happy to know your sharing, and it's a very good exposure for me, lah. Yeah,
yeah. I believe that too, actually. Thank you,
yeah,
and
yeah.
thank you for answering my questions. So thank you again. Okay. Uh, so this is
Because it's school holiday, all the kids around me. Oh, yo.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Don't worry. I have my kid also
Yeah.
usually around me as well. So let me
Hmm.
turn the camera, the other first camera on. Like for example, like turning the camera, so you can see me face to face. Like for example, I use
Oh, okay.
the camera that I use actually here is remotely moving. Is this is the look like how it look
Ah.
like the second camera. So
Mm.
this camera actually can have a zoom and zooming around. You might see that this kind of thing may be quite new to you, but basically they are not very new technology. They are very old. It's the way how you use it. So I
Oh.
think I'm sharing you the way how I'm using it. So by using this way, I think you can able perform your lecturing more towards we call that online live approach.
Mm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see
Then now
and send
I
my
yeah.
greeting to your kids.
Now
So
only I able to on my video. Actually, I don't know what happened to my camera. I want to on also.
I
Just now
see,
don't
I
know what.
see. Now I even can see you in on face. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, nice to see you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
answering.
you. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Okay,
You're welcome.
okay,
Okay.
bye bye. Oh, you
Now
have
you
a
see
kid here. You see, even your kid can join us as a lecturing here.
yeah,
So I think it's
cannot
very
ask children
interesting to
to
see.
be quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. You're welcome. Bye
Okay,
bye.
thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So I will
Mm.
put you also part of the recording result. Is it okay? So if that's all, I will end my talk actually today. And June, actually, thanks again for giving this opportunity to me. So I will end this uh, talk now. So we'll see all of you, and very hopeful to sharing this kind of knowledge to you. And also, I'm very actively want to share with this knowledge to you in future. So hopefully, we'll see you again, and keep in touch and be safe from the COVID. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Prof. Yuta, for such an enlightening and valuable presentations. And I believe teacher will be able to take advantage of the information they acquire from the presentations. It was very informative, and I'm certain that this will be a great help for them to improve their online classes in future. Thank you again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now announce the third place winner of the International STEM Showcase TVET, brought to you by the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office and MSU Management Science University, goes to Asma Hanim binti Abdul Aziz from SMJK Shantau, Kota Kinabalu. Congratulations. To introduce the second speaker, Professor Hannah, I'd like to call upon Madam Lily Sintom.
Good morning and welcome to those of you who have just joined us. Our next presenter is from Indonesia, and before we invite Dr. Hannah for the presentation, let us get to know him better. Dr. Hannah was born in Enrekang, South Sulawesi, Indonesia in December 12, 1959. He graduated from elementary, middle, and high school education in his native area. He was in the undergraduate program of educations at the Makassar Institute of Teacher Training and Educations in 1984. He obtained his master's from the Institute of Teacher Training and Education Malang in 1994 and his doctorate at the State University of Jakarta in 2004. Dr. Hannah became a professor at the age of 47. Among his fondest memories was going on a study visit to Wallenberg Institute in Sweden, Denmark, Hamburg, and Bremen in Germany. In addition, Dr. Hannah also gave a general lecture at SNU South Korea.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable to the Head Office of TVET Kinabalu, Mrs. Puan Nia Hajjajaman, Honorable to the staff of Unit TVET Kota Kinabalu, I really respect to the chair and members of the committee for these activities, especially to Mrs. Siti Junaida Ambo and my honorable to the participants of this conference. First of all, I would like to introduce my identity. My name is Professor Dr. Hannah MPD, teaching staff at the Faculty of Teachers Training and Education at Haluule University, Kendari, Southeast Sulawesi, Indonesia. I want to convey my pride and my honor to the Education Officer Kota Kinabalu for this invitation, even though I have often given materials in Kota Kinabalu before COVID-19 hit the world. But we remind that we have to follow the protocol of the health. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, my title today is Blended Learning Solution in the Century. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, and the participants of this meeting, the title of my presentation is Blended Learning. The presentation will be start to the introduction, which consists of 3 big questions. The first one is why education, or what is the real situation of education in the world now? And the second one, why solution? And the third one, why blended learning? Ladies and gentlemen, the real condition of the world today is in a phenomenon bring government to make a policy in the world of education, like the distance learning policy during the COVID-19 pandemic. For example, turned to be a new problem for education. The problems are, the first one, we come to the facilities, academic, teachers' competencies, ethics and moral, and the last one problem is the educational value. Why I say that? About the educational facilities in the rural areas especially, many of the schools have a limited facilitation. Limited facilities like computers, like cellular, and like electricity. They are very limited. So how they are learned without using a method, how to improve them, how to make them study without facilities. And the second one, the people community in the many area are still very limited. They cannot buy like facilities like handphone, like a cellular, or like a computer, and the other, etc. The next problem is the teacher's competencies. Teachers' competencies are very low to apply the technique. Yeah. Many of the teachers cannot apply the technique, cannot apply how to apply cellular, how to apply internet, how to apply another technique. So the next one about the ethics and morals. We know that because this is the problems, and the teachings cannot be what I mean, what is tatap muka, yeah, in Indonesia say that tatap muka, or meeting in the classroom between teachers and students are not considered. So it make ethic and morals. And the last one about the educational value of the objective of the education. Based on this above problem, the government and the teachers are find solution. Why? Because we know that solution is a way or the answer to their problems. Solution is a method or path used to solve or to get out from the problems without any pressures. So we are start from the problems. The problems is something that needs to solution, because there is a discrepancy between the exciting theory and the reality that occurs. From the problem is the gap that occurs between expectation and the reality, or the existence of the sane and the solemn. Example, let me say one example how to know about the problems. Example of low quality of education. Many people say that, or many questions related to the terms of quality problem is reality. Yeah. About the term of quality, is it a problem or is it a reality? Someone said that it is a problem and someone said that it is a reality. But in my mind, when we are talking about the definition, the definition of reality is something that is visible, can be seen, can be measured. So based on the solution, based on the problem above, the solution to overcome is blended learning. Why blended learning? Yeah. First one, blended learning between corporation and education. There is a corporation, there is an higher education, and K-12 education. Blended learning in 21st century, blended learning has been growing as one of the most important education advances of the 21st century. The very blended learning is come to serve as a connection between traditional learning and e-learning, has having merits that outweigh the advantages of both conventional learning and e-learning if they are taken separately, as is not restricted to the boundaries of the classroom. However, it is keep in touch with its students even after the end and the classroom lesson to accomplish non-stop viability, even with the presence of enormous number of students. Ladies and gentlemen, after presenting some material, so the next questions to be answered is, how is blended learning implemented by teachers in the teaching activities? And the second question is, does blended learning provide solution to learning and increase students' creativity and create a higher order thinking skill? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the implemented the concept. We come to the review. Talking about blended learning, it means that we are talking face-to-face learning. The positive relationship built between teachers and students during the learning process is more important than the students and computer connection. So we need about the face-to-face learning. And the second one, we come to the e-learning. E-learning is a modern way of learning which includes electronic media in the field of education. And the next one, we are talking about the e-learning platform. What is the e-learning platform? E-learning platform is where teachers use their professional expertise and the experiences of the works combined with the appropriate technologies to strategically plan instruction to address the needs of learners. So, blended learning come to serve as a link. Yeah, I repeat, blended learning come to serve as a link between traditional learning and e-learning, thus having many advantages that outweigh the advantages of both traditional learning and e-learning if they are taken separately, as is not limited to the boundaries of the classroom. But it remains that in contact with these learners even after the end of the classroom lesson to achieve continuous effectiveness even with the presence of large number of learners. The conclusion of theory is a combination between online learning and in-class instruction. Why we choose? Because the advantages of blended learning, yeah, we come to the teachers. Teachers are source of instant feedback and time saving. What about the advantage to the students? By using blended learning, students can improve a critical thinking. And the second one, students or the blended learning can be done anywhere at any time. Improve reading and listening skill and change writing skill, increase students' interest and motivation to learn English. Okay. This is the advantages for many theories like home, like Loves, like Zama, and collaboration, and many others advantages based on their theory. So, when after reviewing some theory, we can say that according to Sorby, blended learning, student-centered environment, and individualization, organization and usefulness, communication and collaboration, formative e-assessment, and self-regulation provide real-world relevance. Said that personalized learning, effective classroom strategy, instructional resources. Hensley said that blended learning increase students' engagement and motivation. Blended learning development of 21st century skill. Blended learning improve learning outcomes for students at all academic levels, not only in the junior high school, in the elementary school, but all the academic levels. Ongoing opportunities for connecting, collaborating, and learning. And then the last one, change in pedagogical practice. Next one, according to Hidden, blended learning are make a student centers, individualization, self-regulation, replace the tedious task of grading assessment. We come to the drawbacks about blended learning. One, or the first one, is the cultures and blended learning environment. One major challenge to be considered in the implementation of blended learning in the adaptation from the traditional culture. Graham said that finding the right sign, the need of various designs addressed by the flexibility of blended learning and is both a strength and a drawback. Blended learning requires an intentional approach to instructional design, not just delivery. And third, demand of time. The time required by teachers who implement blended courses will increase because they must develop digital content and moderate online learning. What about Buram and Event? Buram stated that the unwillingness of some students to learn English online, as online courses increase students' mental and physical. Lack of acceptance of online education by potential employers. Students should be more disciplined to success in online courses. The next one, low retention rates in online courses. Problem with eyesight. Drawbacks also say that challenge involve self-regulation and the use of technology teachers are reluctant to include technology into face-to-face teaching, and educational institution challenge lies in provision of sustainable technology. While Hansley said that it is an additional time, for instance, to plan to learn technology and to make assessment. Internet connectivity and lack of instructional technology profession development based statement said, time for collaboration. First one is disengagement, device and infrastructure consent, establishing a PLC and professional learning communities. How to implement it? Someone said that how to implement it, blended learning and learning. This is one example of my research. We divided into two classes. The first one is in class, and the second one e-class. For the activity in a class are giving motivation. It means that teacher's activity, the first one is giving motivation to the students. After that, sometimes giving a quiz or brainstorming or explaining and discussing the materials given in online. And the second one or the next one, practice based on the theory given online. Check the attendance list. Next activity, check and assess the assignment. Next activity, giving feedback. And the last activity of in-class activity is attitude assessment. So the students' activities are learning teachers' explanation or learning teachers' information. And then one, students are able to asking, responding, then learning in a practice, fill attendance list, and submit assignment. This is the activities in a class. What about e-class? E-class, the activity of teachers and students are the teachers' activity pose various kind of materials, text, poem, drama, weather tutorials, for example. And then check the attendance list. This is the important one. And then giving quiz or assessment. And then giving example role model using voice notes or voice video performances. And then giving feedback, and then asking and responding about materials or assignment, and the last one, presenting a video conference. What is the students' activities? The students' activities will be taking notes. It is a should be. Yeah, it is a should be. And the second one, taking a quiz. And then fill the attendance list, online discussion related to the materials, sending assignment through video, voice notes, and the screenshot of notebook. Role play using voice notes or video performances, attending class conference using Google Meet, Skype, or Zoom. And the media, we can use less which media, WhatsApp, Telegram, and messengers, media, Google Site, Google Form, Google Meet, or Mic, or model Skype and Zoom. That is the implementation of blended learning. One example for research finding is try to make our research based on two approaches. The first one, we use qualitative research, and the second one, I use phenomenology approach. Sorry. What is qualitative research? Qualitative research refers in the broad sense to research that produce descriptive data, people's own written or spoken words and observable behavior. Phenomenology approach fully describe the lived experiences of individuals about a phenomenon as described by participants. Okay. This is the findings of research relating to the blended learning. The first one, Bangur et al. Say that the blended learning model has influence on learning, starting from the teaching and learning. The second findings coming from Fandianta et al. He concluded learning motivation and students' outcome. Koira et al. Conclude that the learning models is a very suitable when used as learning model in the 21st century and future era. Related to this, Hasbullah also stated that blended learning-based learning, in addition to improve learning outcomes, is also useful for improving communication relationship in three learning models, namely the traditional classroom model learning environment, the blended one, and the fully online ones. Next, conclusion coming from Idris, he stated that blended learning, it can be interpreted as a learning models that combines traditional and modern learning, which aims to synthesize face-to-face and on learning in an integrated combination to create an effective, efficient, and interesting learning experiences. Finding as discussion. Before coming to the findings and in discussion, I would like to reply back, why we use blended learning. And many conclusions from the researchers about the research. He said that the result of research in the field show that blended learning produce a stronger feeling of communicating between students and traditional or fully online. The face-to-face learning process in the classroom has lost its appeal in this 21st era. This happens, technological development, the learning process in 21st century can be done online or in e-learning. To accommodate technological development e-learning without having to live face-to-face learning, there must be a strategy for organizing, teaching delivery, and the right quality of teaching. Learning blended does not mean replacing the face learning model in the classroom, but strength learning model through the development of educational technology. From several results, it is concluded that the purposes of blended learning is to provide significant learning outcomes rather than using conventional learning models. This is because students learn more actively based on the experiences and thinking power they have so as to form the ability of students explore their knowledge. After presenting, so we come to the conclusion is online class mostly uses to give materials and assignment students using online platform. Face-to-face class utilized for explaining, discussing, and practicing. The teachers utilize blended learning at their class to balance the portion of the needs of mastering theory and learn in practice for vocational school students. Online class mostly used to give materials and assignment to students in the form of digital content. On the contrary, face-to-face class was greatly utilized for explaining, discussing, and practicing the materials given online. Blended learning can be used not only at the university or research level, but in all educational units, such as elementary school, high school, and can even be used at meeting in conditions that require it. That is my presentation. Thank you very much for your attending. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hannah, for such an enriching and informative presentations about blended learning. And I'm sure our fellow educators had increased their understanding on blended learning after listening to your presentations, and will be keen to implement it as one of the teaching methods in the classroom. So thank you again, Dr. Hannah.
The second place winner for the International STEM Showcase TVET, brought to you by the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office and MSU Management Science University, goes to All Come Oi from SMJK Shantau, Kota Kinabalu. Congratulations. To introduce our third speaker, Sampan Silapanat, I'd like to call upon our moderator, Madam Lily Sintom.
So, good day and welcome everyone. We have with us today Dr. Sampan Silampanat, who is the Vice President of HDD Operation Western Digital Storage Technology, Thailand. For your information, Western Digital is a whole worldwide leader in digital data storage device manufacturing. Western Digital had revenues of USD 17 billion for fiscal year ending June 2021 and employ more than 60,000 employees worldwide. Impressive, right? And now let us get to know a little bit of Dr. Sampan's background. Dr. Sampan graduated bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from Kasazat University in Bangkok, obtained his master degree in management from Sassin Graduate Institute of Business Administration of Chulalongkorn University, and honorary doctorate in industrial engineering from Suranari University of Technology. Now, Dr. Sampan had more than 40 years of experience in executive positions of large firms, mainly in electronics and digital storage field, including National Semiconductor, Seagate Technology, Hitachi Global Storage Technology, and Western Digital Corporations. He holds the president positions of the Electronic and Computer Employees Association as well in Thailand. Besides, he has special interest in the country's education improvement and has been working actively with many government organizations and educational institutes over many programs such as cooperative education, talent mobility, and many more. And Dr. Sampan is also being a co-chairman of the World Association of Cooperative Education, known as WACE. So today he will be presenting to us an interesting topic about TVET career path in 2030. In these presentations, Dr. Sampan will be discussing on opportunities, best practices, the uncertainties due to the pandemic, and employability, which refer to the ability to gain initial employment, maintain employment, and how to obtain new employment if required. And now, let us give a round of applause and a warm welcome to Dr. Sampan Silampanat.
Sawadee krap. Good morning, Malaysia. Good morning, my friends. First of all, thank you for very nice of introduction. At the same time, special thanks to you that this is the second invitation for me to speak for Malaysia. The good part of it, I like the topics that we are talking today. TVET is very, very important to the industry, to the business, and to the country. And whenever we talk about career path in the upcoming 10 years, that is even more important. With it, I think we can fix a lot of pain points. At the same time, we should take the opportunities to change, to reinvent the new TVET for the country. My presentation today will cover with 3 sections, starting with the pain point. And at the same time, we will talk about opportunity and best practices. I think the key pain point that the TVET in Southeast Asia, in the developing country that we have been facing. Number one is the TVET is very unfair. I think they work pretty hard. They work in the important roles, but somehow the salary that paid to the TVET people are lower than what they should earn. Number two of the pain point, I think some industry use our TVET graduate in the lower of work quality. This is something that we want to introduce everyone to reinvent the whole education for TVET in the next 10 years that we are talking about it today. Number two of the pain point, I think, is employability. I think we got the goal, we got the new purpose that we have to make the TVET student from now on, whenever they graduate, they have to get the job right away. I think this is the most challenging that everyone needs to focus. And you see, the COVID came for 2 years. We see a lot of unemployment in our countries. And we need to fix that immediately when the COVID gone. So this is the two pain points that we have to work with. Before we move further, I want to take the short introduction. I myself, Sampan Silapanat, Vice President of Western Digital Thailand, who running the hard disk drive that you see the picture on the lower section. But I like to congratulate to Malaysia. We also have the beauty build the solid state in Penang. So with whatever we are going to talk today, and if you are interested to make some collaborative education program with the beauty, you can do both Thailand and the Penang in Malaysia. If you need me to help you to connect, please feel free to connect to me, and I will help you to connect to the beauty in Penang. Last September, 3 months ago, I'd like to give you that we have a good news that Western Digital, for both location in Penang and Prachinburi in Thailand, we are winning the first World Economic Forum Lighthouse Award. And these are the two factories that only the first ever in each country who won the award. And the award is telling us that these two factories have been implementing Industry 4.0 in action and in the true implementation, and have shown a significant outcome from the 4.0. So we start to get very interesting about collaboration. So if you want your TVET student to work on the 4.0 project, please go to Penang, work with Western Digital in Penang. Before I move further, I just want to declare myself that what we are going to share to you, nothing to do with the beauty business profile, model, the future investment, or even the financial. Okay? Let's start with the 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0 sheet. I have been working for 40 years. And 40 years ago, when I start to work with the first company, we got thousands of employees. And every people working on the bench assemble the part and move to the next operator to continue the assembly. And it's so almost 100% is the people and labor intensive. 30 years later, we did 10 years ago. The big firm, including us, start to bring in the automation and robotics. And I like to call that is a 3.0. And what happened is this: we have to invest a lot of millions of dollars in automation. At the same time, we are reducing or convert a lot of people to move to value-added operation. So in introducing that, we are using the less people but do more work. That called 3.0 with automation. About 5 to 6 years ago, we are bringing in the new technology called 4.0. And this technology are mainly focusing on digitization, data technology, data analytics. So this one, what we have learned, actually we invest much less money compared to 3.0. But at the same time, the return on investment with 4.0 is more than 100 times. Could you believe it? This is the sweet spot and sweet part of it. That's why everyone have to change to 4.0. And one of the good things I like to share you further, based on what I have learned. If you are the SME, you are the small business, and you are 2.0 today, you don't need to invest on automation to be 3.0. You can jump short to 4.0. You don't need to do 3.0. So this is a good side that I want to share you what I have learned. So whenever we talk about 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0, this is something happening in our industry. What I want to call is talent transformation. On the top of it, when any industry and business change from 2.0, we did a lot of labor intensive, become to 3.0 and 4.0. There are a lot of people who don't want to reskill, who don't want to upskill, and they want to do something else. We call them that. Those are people that choose to retire. But the people who choose to stay, we will talk about the bottom left, which is called retrain. This retrain part, we will need a lot of help from the college, from university, to help to retain our people. And that's called upskill, reskill. And we can't do it alone. So we want a lot of support from professors, from lecturers, from college and university to come and help to retain. The most important part is recruit on the bottom right. We have to fill in with the new people in our factory, in our industry. That's called the recruit. The important message today, you can't continue to produce the TVET student with 2.0 because we got more than enough in the retrain. So we want to recruit only 3.0 and 4.0 TVET students. This is something that if we want to get the higher salary, higher quality of work, get the job faster, the TVET in the next 10 years, we have to reinvent our whole curriculum to be 3.0 or even better to 4.0. You have to stop doing 2.0 TVET anymore. Next one. Whenever we talk about industry 4.0, everything we'll talk about skill. And what I'm telling you that whatever how many years that you are in the college, 3 years, 4 years, you better stop or lessen the work in the academic sector. Don't do so many of classroom teaching. Don't do the textbook teaching, and let the student remember that we are teaching them at end of 3 months or 4 months. We put the exam to test them how much they remember. That the old way school that we have to stop. We have to make during 3 to 4 years to get the student out to the business, out to the factory, to learn the practical skill, to learn the working skill, because, employer or businesses don't want to hire the student who just have the grade and the certificate. We want the people, we want the student that can start to work next day. We don't want to train them anymore. So that we have to reinvent our curriculum, our way of teaching the student. So number 2, whenever you are collaborating very well with the industry, now you can exchange. You can take their workers, the employees, to come and retrain, to come upskill and reskill. That is the additional part for the college and university. Since then, you will see that the whole student in the college is not just at the teenage anymore. There might be age at 30, 40, 50, or even 60 that we want to upskill and reskill them. So this is open the business and the wide range of the scope of the college and university from now on. Whenever we're saying this, that's one I want to put the word of the future of education is about collaboration. In the old way of doing things, you let the student learn and learn and learn for 3 and 4 years. And when you're done with learning, you give them with the certificate, you give them with the degree. And the next day, they have to change to work and work and work. That's not in the series anymore. And we have been proving that with this series causing a lot of pain point, causing a lot of problem in the country. So I like to introduce, whenever you educate during the first 3 or 4 years, let's do the sandwiching or switching. Learn and go and work and come back to learn, go back and learn and work and learn and work. So those are the 2 flip-flops that we have to do. And if we are doing this, the student will know that why we study in this, because they know that we have to take the knowledge to be applied in the practical work. That's the way of helping the education. I like to share what we have done a few things here in the Beauty Thailand. We have been doing cooperative education program for more than 10 years. Every single year, we bring in the student into the factory, more than 100 people. And we take both locally in Thailand and we take internationally also. And you know that every single student will have the mentors from our engineer to be attaching them and work on the projects. And every project have to be last longer than 4 months. Why it have to be 4 months? We encounter and we learn that in the old way of cooperative education program, we put the student only 2 weeks and 1 month. That's not enough for the student to earn and learn the practical skill. The time is so short. That's why we have tried to make it longer. And we think 4 months is the good sweet spot for the program to make it more effectively. The student will learn how to be a practical workers in the future. So we have been doing this for more than 10 years. And I like to share you that the international student that coming to Thailand, we have doing it with 40 countries. And if you look to the third row, you see the flags of Malaysia. And I like to share you, during the past 5 years, we were bringing in the students from Malaysia before COVID time, almost 100 students. And the student of those 100 students from Malaysia, they work in the beauty Malaysia for 2 or 3 months. And the last month, they come to Thailand, working in Thailand with the Thai student, the Thai TVET student. We put 2 of them partnership together and work on the projects in the beauty Thailand. So these are the programs that I want to encourage everyone to do it, which is called cooperative education. The next program that we have been just introduced this year, we are hiring 22 students who study on the last years in the college. Haven't graduated yet. We hire them. We pay them as a beauty employee, even they're not graduate. And the whole year before they graduate with university, we put them to work on the projects. Every single day, projects. We not put them in the real work yet. And all the projects that we put to these 22 students here, all related to 4.0 technology. That's why this one gonna be a new recruit example that I don't want to take the student who are 2.0 anymore. I want the new student, the new graduate, the new high to be the 4.0 skill candidate only. At the end of the presentation, I like to give you with the one single concept for education. Stop doing supply push and change to demand pull. Why I'm saying that? If you look to the curriculum design for the student for the whole 3 years, 4 years, you put a lot of program and class, the subject, the curriculum, and you dump everything to the student. Have to pass that class, pass this subject, go to this and those. Did you know that sometimes those classes, those subjects, the student never like to learn. The student have aim to work at the end of the game with one business. They might be startup, they want to be their own entrepreneur, and they might want to work for the beauty with it. All the subjects, all the classes that you provide them, they don't need all of those. So if we change to demand pool, we give the opportunity for the student who know themselves, who aim themselves to be someone, to just selectively learn on what they need to learn and get those extra time to do the practical skill, practicing, and even better with industry, with the business that they love to be. So this is something that I want to encourage you to look to the curriculum, that we put so many subjects, we put so many knowledge, we put so many academic approach to the student. We overwhelming them, we overload them, we make them burn out, and they have to suffering study on something that they not want to be. So I like to change the supply push concept to be demand pull. And I want to close the sharing presentation today. Thank you, everyone. สวัสดีครับ
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sampan, for the most informative presentations. And I think most of our audience here would love to find out more and have questions to ask. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, please post your questions to Dr. Sampan now. I think we still have time to answer a few questions. And if you're too shy, maybe you can just write your questions in the comment box and I will read it out for you. Okay? Any question, teachers? Well, if they don't have any question,
what do you think about on the real day I may dial in
Oh,
doesn't show audio, doesn't show video. But in case of the audience want to ask me the question, I can answer live.
oh,
What do you
that will be great, right, June? Yeah, if you can join us for the live, I'm not sure about. You have to ask June and the technical.
No, you let me know. You just text me that
Yeah.
whether you want to do that or not.
Mhm.
Also have my WhatsApp, and
Mhm.
the other lady, I think, what your name again?
June, June. My name June.
June.
Yeah.
Doctor June. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay,
It's okay, it's okay, doctor.
So you communicate me
Okay.
in the next few days that if Kun Samphan, can you join the audio session? So at least someone
I think they want to ask questions. Yeah, but doctor, I have one question here.
Okay.
You're talking about the cooperative educations, right? With Western Digitals, the one in Penang. So how do the students qualify to enroll for that? Do they have to be university graduates, or can they be from the vocational students? Like after Form 5, we finish our Form 5 at 17, right? Can they enroll there? How is it? How do the students apply?
Okay. A cooperative education program is specifically in just the Beauty Thailand.
Oh.
So you have to talk to the Beauty Penang whether do they have similar program or not.
I see.
This is our own Thailand program.
Oh, that's Thailand's program.
Yes.
Oh.
But in the past that I'm talking about, your 100 students came here. You remember we used to have the beauty in KL.
Yes.
And we just closed them 3 years ago.
Hey, hi, Dr. Samphan.
Yeah, Madam, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say hello and say bye-bye.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you for invitation. Thank you for connection.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, so that means that if, let's say, we can have that opportunity in Penang, that will be good, isn't it?
I think you need to contact to Penang. They might have some similar program. But
okay.
I didn't know in the detail, so I can't answer you what program they have.
So Jill will have how do we get the contact from Penang?
Then we can ask for Dr. Samphan.
Yes. I will put you the
okay.
maybe you like me the mail, so I can CC some of the mail inside that. And I think we are lucky that the plan VP used to work with me before in Thailand.
Oh.
So they might hear a lot of program, but we are very, very well connected. Okay.
I see. So I think we will definitely will take this opportunity for our students to learn.
So June, are you happy with the tape now?
Definitely, I feel very happy, doctor.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your cooperate. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Yeah, any more questions from audience?
Any question, teachers, you want to know? Maybe you want to know any opportunity?
I think it's very tough to question like here, because whenever you go to the real presentation, I think you have to open to the audience to right?
Yeah, they are the audience now. The teachers.
Yeah. Okay.
But
unless some of you are interested to raise some question, please do so.
If you want to, maybe if you are too shy, you can just type your questions in the comment.
Yeah. You said, Samphan, can I go and work in Thailand?
Yes. The questions? Okay.
Someone say it. They love Thailand. Okay.
Yeah, I love Thailand food too.
You're talking about durian or what?
What's that?
Durian.
Actually, it's the karabu. That very nice. The salad, the papaya salad. Your papaya salad.
Oh, som tam.
Yes.
But I'm talking about durian. You know durian?
I love durian, doctor.
Oh,
yes, I love durian too. Really someone say that they love James Bond's Island.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Doctor, which part of Thailand that you are? Which
Yeah.
part of Thailand that you are in?
Actually, our factory is on the skirt of Bangkok.
Bangkok.
Outskirts of
So it
Bangkok.
takes about 1 hour, 2 hours to be in the from the center of Bangkok to be the factory.
So
I
you
see.
can say we organize a trip there maybe next time with my TVET teachers.
I tell you, you let us know. I can
Okay.
plan to do a lot of visiting factory, visiting university. We can help
Yes.
you to design the whole program.
Okay,
Thank you
Dr.
so
Jen and
much.
I would love that. Yeah, we
Yes,
will plan
definitely.
that.
Thank
next
you
year.
so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay,
Okay. Yep. Go ahead. Go ahead. At the moment, actually, both hard disk drive and solid state is still rising because every single year, the data storage growing about 40%. So either they have to put in hard drive or they put in the solid state. They got no much choice. They have to choose either one. And we have both solid state and hard drive. Talking about new technology, we got one division to explore the new technology. We don't know yet today. All right.
Okay.
Hey, have a good day, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
ส
so
วัสดี
much.
ครับ สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ
The first place winner for the International STEM Showcase TVET, brought to you by the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office and MSU Management Science University, goes to Johanna Binti Abura from All Saints, Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. Congratulations.
Salam sejahtera kepada semua pelajar, diharap semua pelajar sihat selalu. Hari ini kita akan belajar modul 5, unit 5.2, sistem catatan bergu. Pernahkah Anda bermain jongkang-jongkit? Untuk bermain permainan ini, Anda memerlukan pasangan, bukan? Kawan Anda perlu duduk atas tempat duduk masing-masing. Kemudian digoyangkan bagi membuat jongkang-jongkit bergerak. Dengan cara ini barulah senang Anda bermain bersama kawan, bukan? Ini bermaksud Anda memerlukan pasangan untuk bermain bersama. Dengan gambaran permainan ini, bolehlah cikgu samakan dengan tajuk yang kita akan belajar hari ini, yaitu sistem catatan bergu. Apakah sistem catatan bergu? Sistem catatan bergu merekodkan setiap urus niaga sekurang-kurangnya dalam 2 akaun yang berbeza, yaitu 1 akaun akan didebitkan dan 1 akaun akan dikreditkan dengan amount yang sama. Dalam pelajaran unit 5.1 yang lalu, yaitu ledger, kita telah belajar tentang format ledger yang terdiri daripada tarik, butir, folio, dan amount. Dalam unit itu, cikgu telah terangkan fungsi setiap item. Dalam unit kali ini, cikgu akan menunjukkan bahagian debit dan kredit dalam akaun seperti yang cikgu tunjukkan gambaran dalam permainan jongkang-jongkit tadi. Cikgu akan memberikan contoh untuk penerangan lanjut tentang catatan bergu. Contohnya, Perniagaan Elis telah membeli sebuah meja bernilai Rp500 dari kedai jati secara kredit. Dalam situasi ini, langkah pertama, kita perlu memastikan dua urus niaga yang terlibat. Pertama, kita wujudkan akaun perabot, karena perabot dalam perniagaan Elis bertambah. Kedua, kita wujudkan akaun belum bayar kedai jati, karena hutang perniagaan Elis kepada kedai jati telah bertambah sebanyak Rp500. Langkah kedua, pelajar perlu kenal pasti catatan akaun di bahagian debit dan kredit. Oleh kerana perabot dikategori sebagai aset dan aset bertambah, maka akaun ini direkodkan di sebelah debit akaun perabot. Manakala akaun belum bayar kedai jati pula dikategori sebagai liability dan liability bertambah, maka kita akan rekodkan akaun ini di sebelah kredit akaun belum bayar kedai jati. Di sini, cikgu akan memberi pelajar sedikit tips tentang penentuan akaun, sama ada di sebelah debit atau kredit suatu akaun. Cuba pelajar lihat sinonim yang cikgu cipta ini. Akaun yang didebitkan ialah ASAMBI. AS mewakili aset, AM mewakili ambilan, B pula mewakili belanja bila urus niaga ini bertambah. Sebaliknya, akaun yang dikreditkan pula ialah halia. Mewakili ekuiti pemilik, H mewakili hasil, lia mewakili liability bila urus niaga itu bertambah. Begitulah sebaliknya, sekiranya urus niaga berkurang. Mudah kan pelajar untuk mengingatinya? Jadi, pelajar perlu menghafal sinonim ini untuk memudahkan pelajar merekodkan di bahagian yang betul. Dalam analisis cikgu dapati pelajar selalu melakukan kesilapan dalam menerangkan perekodan suatu akaun. Cuba Anda lihat ruangan debit dalam akaun A. Apakah butiran yang tercatat di sana, pelajar? B, bukan? Selalunya pelajar akan beranggapan bahwa akaun B ialah akaun yang didebitkan, karena butiran ini tercatat dalam ruangan debit. Sebenarnya, akaun yang didebitkan ialah A dan bukannya B. Begitu juga sebaliknya. Dalam akaun B, akaun yang dikreditkan ialah akaun B dan bukannya A. Cikgu akan terangkan persoalan ini melalui gambar ini. Coba pelajar lihat. Bahagian sebelah debit, akaun A. Terdapat pokok kelapa, bukan? Pokok kelapa tersebut adalah hak milik A, bukannya B. Walaupun B berada dalam ruangan debit. B hanya boleh diibaratkan sebagai pelawat yang melawat kawasan kebun kelapa milik A. Jadi akaun yang didebitkan ialah A. Coba pelajar lihat pula di bahagian sebelah kredit akaun B. Terdapat pokok mangga, bukan? Pokok mangga dalam ruangan tersebut adalah hak milik B dan bukannya A. Walaupun A berada dalam ruangan kredit akaun tersebut. A hanya boleh diibaratkan sebagai pelawat yang melawat kawasan kebun mangga milik B. Jadi akaun yang dikreditkan ialah B. Setelah pelajar mengenal pasti catatan akaun di kedua-dua bahagian dan merekodkannya dengan betul, maka akaun tersebut perlu ditutup dengan menulis baki hantar ke bawah pada hujung bulan, kemudian mengimbangkannya. Seterusnya, pelajar perlu meletakkan 2 garis di kedua-dua jumlah tersebut. Akhir sekali, pelajar perlu memindahkan baki akhir tadi ke bulan hadapan dengan menulis baki bawah ke bawah. Demikianlah juga langkah yang sama perlu pelajar lakukan dalam mencatat akaun belum bayar kedai jati. Dengan ini, maka lengkaplah sesuatu akaun tersebut. Diharap pelajar akan memahami segala yang cikgu sampaikan tadi. Di sini cikgu akan memberi pelajar beberapa soalan sebagai latihan untuk diselesaikan. Selamat mencoba. Sekian pelajaran kita hari ini. Jumpa lagi di lain hari dengan topik yang lain. Terima kasih.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've now come to the end of our event today. On behalf of the organizing committee, I'd like to apologize for any shortcomings faced during this event. We'd like to thank you for joining us and congratulate all the winners once again, as well as the participants of the International STEM Showcase TVET, brought to you by the Kota Kinabalu District Education Office and MSU Management Science University. I'm Shobha McIntyre. Until we meet again, goodbye.